In today's world, everything looks polished on the surface. Perfect smiles, filtered faces, careful edited lives. But behind the screen, something else is happening, something far less beautiful. We are watching humanity slowly lose its sense of reverence, respect, and moral weight. What used to be sacred is now turned into content. What used to be private pain is now entertainment. And what used to be considered wrong is now rewarded with attention, likes, shares, and money. Some people have turned mockery into career. They don't just disagree with beliefs, they ridicule what others hold sacred. They don't just question values, they turn them into jokes for engagement. And in that space, something very dangerous is happening. We are confusing popularity with righteousness and attention with truth. Because when someone mocks what another person holds as holy, and that mockery is rewarded publicly, it sends a message that nothing is sacred anymore. Not faith, not dignity, not human conscious. And the deeper question is not just what people are doing, but what we are becoming comfortable watching. Even more troubling is the contradiction. Many say they support faith, they support Christianity, they support love, compassion, and moral values. Yet they participate in systems that celebrate humiliation, disrespect, and spiritual mockery when it goes viral. That is where the confusion begins, because belief without behavior is only language, and support without integrity becomes contradiction. This is not about judgment of individuals, it is about the direction of culture. A society cannot survive emotionally or spiritually if it constantly profits from tearing down what others hold sacred. At some point, we have to ask, are we building a world of understanding or a world that entertains itself through disrespect? Because when everything becomes content, even human dignity becomes optional. And when nothing is sacred anymore, we don't become fearer, we become emptier. And that emptiness is what we are slowly calling normal. But deep down, humanity still knows the difference. Respect still feels like respect. Mockery still feels like corruption. And truth still whispers, even when the world gets loud. The real question is, we will listen before we completely forget how to. Modern social platforms often reward attention over substance, and that can make self centered, provocative, or emotionally harsh behavior more visible than grounded, respectful conduct. In that environment, it can feel like narcissistic traits are being amplified because they perform well in algorithms designed to prioritize engagement, shock, conflict, and spectacle tend to travel farther than quiet integrity. But it's not accurate to conclude that silence equals approval or that dysfunction has become universally accepted. A lot of people do notice these patterns, discuss them, and actively push back against them, just not always in the loudest or most viral ways. What's more true is that the system often confuses visibility with value, which can distort perception of what is normal. So the challenge isn't that humanity has fully embraced narcissism, but that attention based platforms can temporarily reward it, making it look more dominant than it actually is in everyday human relationships, where empathy, responsibility, and respect still matter deeply. They call it confidence in filtered light, a curated smile that wins the fight, not truth, but traction, sharp and bright, where empty echoes feel like right, a world where self becomes the stage, where every feeling is a page rewritten fast for clicks and praise, and quiet virtue slips away. Attention feeds the modern throne, where louder voices claim the known, and depth gets lost in tone and trend. A truth that bends but will not mend. They teach the young to rise by glare, to build a name from what they wear, not what they are, but what they show, as if the soul is for the show. And in this mirror, strange and cold, the softest hearts are bought and sold. While narcissism wears a crown, while narcissism wears a crown that cheers the rise and calls it sound. Yet somewhere underneath the noise, beneath the filtered girls and boys, a quiet truth still breathes and waits for something real behind the gates.